Right, and then the last bit is just a note about asset disposal. This can come up. If it does, it's something that we'll look at in the past papers because it's a T account. Okay, I'll either cover it in your assignment if it comes up there. If not, I'll cover it in your past papers. Okay, it's not a very difficult thing to do. It's just looking at this: selling or writing off or trading in assets. Okay, so what am I going to use to do that? I'm going to use a asset realization account. It's a T account. Okay, and the T account is called the asset realization account. Okay, is this account an asset, liability, income, expense, capital drawings? It doesn't have a element. Why? It's just a working. So asset disposal is just a working. Something that you need to do in order to get an amount. Okay, so how do you do an asset disposal? Here's the first bit. Number one, process the depreciation until the day that you sell it. Okay, so if I'm selling the asset halfway during the year, I need to process depreciation until the day that I sell it, because I need to know what the carrying value is. Okay, get the carrying value. That's why you're doing that. Okay. Number two is to transfer the accumulated depreciation to the realization account. Okay, meaning I'm removing the asset. So if I'm removing the asset, I'm going to get rid of the depreciation. If I'm removing the asset or disposing of the asset, I'm going to move out the cost. Okay, I'm going to remove the cost. Okay, so that's what you're looking at here. Okay, so that's step number 2 and step number 3. Get rid of the cost, get rid of the accumulated depreciation. Okay. Number 4 is record any proceeds, any amount that you've received from selling the asset. Okay, so if I sell an asset, I'm going to have proceeds that are going to come in. And the last bit is to determine the profit or loss. Okay, so that's the slides. What I do want to do is quickly just show you what that would look like here. Okay, in terms of a T account. Okay, asset realization will have a debit and a credit. Right, so if I'm looking at asset realization, step number 1, process any depreciation on the asset until the day that it's sold. Okay, so that would have been depreciation until the date sold. Okay, what would that look like? It would be debit depreciation, credit the accumulated depreciation. Okay, that's step number 1. Step number 2, process the accumulated depreciation to the asset realization account. Okay, so what balance does accumulated depreciation have? It's a negative asset, so it has a credit balance. If it has a credit balance, it'll still have a credit balance here. Okay, it's simple. Right, so accumulated depreciation will go here on that side of the account. Okay, because it's a negative asset. And then the cost, which is the next step, would go here. Okay, you're selling the asset. So this would have been maybe vehicles. Right, this is the cost. Okay, because if I'm selling the asset, I'm going to get rid of the asset. Okay, you're disposing of it. Your asset realization, asset disposal. Okay, so that'll be the vehicle's cost. Okay, then the next step is look at proceeds. If I sell the vehicle, okay, step 4, was this 4, I think? Record, yeah, I've got the right numbers. Okay, so obviously that was so 1, then 2, 3, 4, this is 4. Okay, so if I record the proceeds, you're going to debit the bank and you're going to credit the asset realization accounts. Okay, why? Because you're selling the asset. So if you're selling the asset, do you get cash? Of course you do. Okay, so the asset is going to increase. You're going to get more cash than you started with. Right, so if I'm debiting bank, I'm going to credit the asset realization. Right? And then you'll have either a profit or a loss. Okay, so profit on sale of an asset is going to go on this side. Okay, the loss on sale of an asset will go on that side, depending on what happened. Okay, so if I have a profit on sale, when does the profit on sale occur? It occurs when my carrying value is lower than the proceeds. Okay, i.e., let me do this at the bottom here. Profit when proceeds greater than carrying value. Okay, you've sold something for more than what it's worth. Does it make sense? Okay, that gives you the profits. Loss when proceeds are less than carrying value. That's when you have a loss. Alright, so that's just the theory. Okay, we'll look at that if it does get tested. Okay, I haven't seen too many of those examples in terms of an asset disposal. Okay, it's a possibility, but we never know. Okay, so as long as we've covered it, that's okay. Okay, we'll look at past papers as a guide to see how important it is. Okay, but this is something that you might have to look at in terms of the actual disposal of an asset. Okay. Alright, so if you can, remember to go through those study guide exercises. Okay, there's a lot of exercises there that you can use as practice to see if you're okay with depreciation. You've got one example here that I want you to do for next week. Alright, so see if you can work out the table for diminishing balance for that one example.